Do you suffer from entertainment addiction? In today's world, a lot of people spend a lot of time watching movies, TV shows, or playing video games. A lot of this entertainment wasn't available a couple of decades ago. Almost none of it was available about a century ago. People's lives looked very different. People socialized more. Even just a couple of decades ago, children were spending a lot more time outside, playing in the real world. People didn't spend their time glued to a screen or obsessing over collecting virtual items in a virtual world. They didn't binge watch their newest favorite show on Netflix to see what happens next to people that don't even exist. In today's world, this sort of behavior has become very common. Stories are being told differently. Instead of being a short little trip that takes the reader on a journey and possibly makes them think about humanity and their place in the universe, it's all about getting people hooked so they'll keep consuming. Even books are designed in such a way. They often aren't just standalone books, but they are different entries in a series that construct a fictional universe to make people emotionally invested and dependent on the fictional work, relate to the characters, fall in love with them, wanting to see how things continue for them. People that don't exist and don't matter. All these forms of entertainment often end on cliffhangers, so the viewer comes back, spends more money on the next product to see how things continue, and then goes online to complain about how bad the quality of the product he has become addicted to has become, while continuing to consume it. Today's entertainment takes the consumer into a fictional world and keeps him there. Video games essentially already work like virtual realities, whether you use a VR headset or not. You are so immersed in the fictional world that it feels as if you are that character in that world. Games function as simulators for different ideas. The game takes over. It's what matters the most. You phase out everything around you. Nothing is going on in your mind other than the things that are happening in the game. Achievements in this game world start to matter as much as achievements in the real world, if not more. You start to feel a sense of accomplishment and purpose. It's escapism, not just for an hour a day to relax after work, but to construct a whole new identity in a different reality. A second life. A lot of these games often take a lot of time investment to get anything done and to get to where you want your character to be. And there's a multitude of different games out there covering all sorts of fantasies. If you're a loser in the real world, you can at least be a hero in the virtual space. YouTubers and social media influencers give their fans a feeling of having a place in the world. They pretend to be their friends. Many people will give these influencers money just so they can be noticed by them. Of course, porn is its very own form of this sort of parasocial relationship. Tons of lonely men are being taken advantage of by girls that pretend to feel affection for them in exchange for money. All these forms of entertainment have people shackled to something that isn't real. People fill their houses with merchandise to celebrate fictional people, only to neglect their real existing family members. They create their identities around the products they consume. But all that matters to these companies is that they consume. And being incapable of interacting with people in the real world, they buy fake friendship and affection. Very little in these people's lives is real, which is why so many people today crave real interactions with honest people. Everybody's lives are filled to the brim with fakeness. People Photoshop their own photos on social media accounts and use filters to hide the flaws that surgery couldn't fix. People run social media accounts and communities to gain internet fame and a followership that can make them money and feel important. People buy collector's editions and merchandise of their favorite products and proudly display them for everyone to see. Toys that, like the games, are really just designed for children. And it's okay for children to indulge in these things, but part of growing up is to learn to leave these childish things behind. All of these rooms are a testament to how much time and money these people waste on things that don't matter. Proof that they are obedient little consumers. Worse even, people spend horrendous sums of money on virtual items and goods that aren't even real, that can never be resold because you can't even touch them. They essentially don't exist. Everybody can spend their money and time however they want to, but that doesn't mean it's a good choice. The kind of people who would encourage you to spend that kind of money on these things are people who don't have your best interests in mind. Like trading card games that make you sink tons of money into buying cards at the rare chance of getting a rare card or a super rare card. They are looking for ways to extract more money from you with no concern for your well-being. They are not your friends. Most people would do well to take a step back from these mental prisons and to take a look at what's really important. Other people, real people, nature, the outside world, the real world. Every hour spent hunting for collectibles in video games or finding out what happened to your favorite character in the newest season of your favorite show could be spent on something more valuable. Learning, building, creating something of your own. You should be traveling the world instead of exploring a fake reality made up of pixels. Traveling is expensive, but take a step outside. You most likely have places within walking distance that you've never even seen. How many cities are next to yours that you've never even been to? What are you waiting for? You should be socializing with real people instead of feeding into some parasocial relationship with someone who doesn't even know you. You should be finding a real partner and be starting a family instead of giving money to girls on the internet so they can fake being surprised by the amount of money you are giving them. The reason why a lot of people are addicted to entertainment and get lost in these virtual worlds is because it's easier. It's easier to build something up in a video game than to build something up in real life. It's easier to watch that YouTuber with an anime girl avatar and feel some small amount of affection when she reads your name than to walk up to a girl in the real world and risk rejection. It's easier to pretend you're a hero in a world that doesn't even exist than to build something real in the real world. It's easier to play a game where the hero is a super muscular dude than to actually go to the gym and achieve that kind of physique for yourself. And it's easier to just create a pretty girl in a video game and pretend she's your girlfriend than to do what is necessary to attract an actual woman. That is why these things are deemed more valuable and more deserving of respect. If given the choice between two things, you should always choose the harder option. At least the harder option, even if you fail, will be something you can learn from and grow as a person. There isn't much character growth and development found in these virtual worlds. Life is short, and at the end of the day, nobody is going to care whether you 100% at that video game or how many times you've rewatched that show. Not even you. And those people that pretend to be a friend, they don't even know who you are. There are people who lived long before any of these things existed. Do you think their lives were lacking? You don't need this. Nobody needs this. You need the same things everybody else needs. Food, shelter, love, a purpose in life. Different people find different meanings in their lives. But deep down, you know that you can't find true meaning in any of these fake things. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Hit the bell because apparently subscribing isn't enough. And if you want to support this channel with a small tip or donation, you can find my PayPal and Patreon links down below. Take care.